What's good, YouTube? It's your boy, Blue Blood Sports TV, back at y'all with another one. So finally, we got some great news. And some great news for undefeated IBF welterweight world champion superstar boxer, the Phenom, as I refer to him as, in Jaron Boots Ennis. 33 wins, no losses, no draw. 29 wins by way of knockout. 27 years of age, 5'10" with a 74-inch arm reach. Finalizing a deal to face off against Lithuanian star WBA welterweight world champion, undefeated, Eimantas Stanionis, who is 15 wins, no losses, no draw, 9 wins by way of knockout. He's 30 years of age, 5'8" with a 68-inch arm reach. With that said, it's said that April 12th, we're going to get this showdown, a unification bout for Jaron Boots Ennis. This is what he's been seeking forever and a day. He wants to unify the belts before he's pressured in or, make the decision to move up to 154 pounds. He's a big welterweight for sure, but he wants to fight a world champion and beat a world champion for a title at 147 before he goes to 54. Now he has the IBF title, International Boxing Federation title, and I know some people that don't know, they'll say, well, how is he a world champion then? Well, because Terrence Bud Crawford moved up to 154. Jaron Ennis was the IBF mandatory for Errol Spence's belt. Terrence Crawford beat Errol Spence. He inherited Jaron Ennis as mandatory, but they were supposed to have an immediate rematch. They had an immediate rematch clause, Errol Spence and Terrence Crawford, and it was said that the fight was going to take place at 154. And Terrence Crawford had previously stated, like Errol Spence, that it's not easy for either one of them to make 147 pounds. So both had it in their brain that their next fight, their rematch, was going to be at 154. So Terrence Crawford was planning to go to 154, and he had the rematch clause where Errol Spence and President Mr. Darryl Peoples, they stripped Terrence Crawford the IBF title, elevated Jaron Ennis. That's how he got the IBF title. Eimantas Stanionis, similar fashion. He had the WBA regular title. He got elevated to, he was the mandatory as well. He got elevated to the super champion because same situation, because Terrence Crawford beat Errol Spence, he became undisputed. So he inherited Stanionis, Jaron Ennis as his mandatories, and Mario Barrios. And so they all moved up. I mean, he moved up and they all moved up, right? Mario Barrios is now the WBC welterweight champion. Stanionis, WBA, etc., right? The only guy that fought for the vacant belt was Brian Norman Jr., who fought and beat slipping my mind right now, right? But Brian Norman Jr., he beat and won the WBO title against Santillion. Excuse me, his name was escaping me for whatever reason. Santillion, he beat him in his backyard in San Diego for the WBO title. So he actually fought for the belt. He's the actual only one that fought and won the title. Everybody else was elevated. So Jaron Ennis doesn't want that stain or the smut on his resume at 147, where people will call him an email champion and never won a world title and be the champion for their title. So now he has his opportunity. And he had two performances that that didn't live up to the standards and the expectations of the skill set that Jaron Boots Ennis possesses, against David Avanesian, and then against in his last fight against Karen Chugajan, right? So those two performances, although he got the win clearly in both those fights, but those two performances, they man, all this salt, pardon me, people, they did him a disservice, right? He got hit in those fights. They were smaller than him. He was supposed to blow them out the water, knock him out. You understand? He knocked out Avanesian. but Terrence Crawford had already done that. And then he beat Karen in a rematch, but he looked lackluster in the first one, and then this one he got hit even more. So his stock took a hit, and people started to see and say, well, he got exposed. I don't think he got exposed. I just think he fights to the level of his competition like Teofimo Lopez. Nonetheless, people look at this now as a competitive fight. At one point in time, you say Stanionis versus Boots Ennis, it was like a one-sided fight. Now people are going to look at this fight like it's actually competitive because Stanionis is better than Avanesian and he's better than Karen Chugajan, right? That don't equal that it'll be a better performance because we saw Canelo Alvarez and Floyd Mayweather, they fought against one another, and he couldn't lay a hand or a finger, anything, on Floyd Mayweather, right? But then Marcos Maidana, El Chino Maidana, he fought Floyd Mayweather, and he was able to touch Floyd Mayweather up a few times in both fights, called for a rematch, right? Then you had Floyd Mayweather versus Chop Chop Corley, right? Tough fight for Floyd Mayweather once again, right? But then Floyd, when against Manny Pacquiao, one side of the fair. He just absolutely dominated Manny Pacquiao, right? So I guess, you know, again, like I said, I feel like it's the fighter, you know, fights to the level of their competition. That's what I feel like. And so we're gonna see. This is an important fight. You got all the junior welterweights coming up and looking to fight Boots Ennis, Devin Haney, Teofimo Lopez, and Ryan Garcia. A new wave. He gonna have to make a statement. And is he even gonna be at 147 after this fight? I think he got to make a statement against Amanda Stanionis. So let's see how this unfolds and plays out, man. But that's all I got for y'all. Follow me on Instagram, Blue Blood Sports TV, or one word, I'm gone. Peace.